Welcome to Everyday Counseling, a podcast about understanding emotional patterns as they play out in daily life. In this episode, we're following on from how steadier confidence influences decision making under pressure and why people often make clearer choices once challenges feel less threatening. When pressure is high, decisions tend to narrow, options feel limited, time feels compressed. The body is focused on resolving discomfort rather than weighing what actually makes sense. In that state, clarity isn't always available, even if the decision itself is straightforward. What changes as confidence becomes steadier is not the absence of pressure, but the way pressure is interpreted. Earlier, we explored how confidence grows from tolerating discomfort rather than eliminating it. That tolerance has a direct effect on decision making. When discomfort no longer signals danger, the system doesn't need to rush. And when the system doesn't rush, thinking becomes more flexible. You might recognize this in moments that used to feel urgent, a difficult conversation, a deadline, a choice that once triggered overthinking. The situation is still there, but it doesn't feel as threatening. That shift alone creates more mental space. In this episode, we'll look at what creates pressure, what pressure does to decision making, and how people tend to respond when choices feel loaded. Pressure often comes from meaning rather than consequence. A decision feels heavy not because of what will happen next, but because of what the decision seems to say about competence, reliability, commitment, identity. When decisions are tied to self judgment, pressure rises quickly. Under pressure, people tend to default to familiar responses. Some decide too quickly just to end the discomfort. Others delay endlessly, hoping clarity will appear on its own. Both responses reduce immediate pressure, but neither necessarily leads to better outcomes. What steadier confidence changes is the ability to stay with pressure without being driven by it. You might notice this when you can hold two options in mind without needing to choose immediately, or when you recognize that there isn't a perfect answer, just a workable one. That recognition reduces the emotional load attached to the choice. Another shift is how people relate to mistakes. When challenges feel less threatening, mistakes lose some of their weight. Decisions don't have to guarantee success, they just need to be responsive to the situation. This makes choices clearer, not because outcomes are certain, but because fear is less involved. You might see this in everyday situations, saying yes or no, responding now or later, speaking up or staying quiet. The clarity comes from knowing what you can manage rather than predicting every possible outcome. Confidence built through experience supports this. When people trust their ability to respond to whatever follows, decisions feel less final. Adjustments feel possible. That flexibility reduces pressure significantly. Another important change is pacing. Clearer decisions often happen more slowly, not more quickly. Slowing down isn't hesitation, it's accuracy. Pressure pushes people to decide fast. Confidence allows time to be taken. This doesn't mean overthinking, it means allowing information to settle, letting emotional noise quieten enough for perspective to emerge. You might notice this when you stop seeking reassurance before deciding. Not because reassurance is wrong, but because you no longer need it to feel steady enough to choose. The decision stands on its own. As pressure reduces, people also become more selective. Not every decision needs the same level of attention. Energy is distributed more proportionately. Small choices stay small. This has a cumulative effect. When decisions feel clearer, life feels less effortful. There's less mental residue left behind, fewer moments of replay, less second guessing. Over time, people often describe feeling more decisive without feeling rigid. Choices are made, revisited if needed, and then released. That release is a key part of clarity. What's happening underneath is trust. Trust in judgment, trust in adaptability, trust that mistakes won't be catastrophic. That trust allows decisions to be made without excessive pressure. As we move on from here, there's an important next step to explore. Even with steadier confidence and clearer decision making, people still have moments where their reactions feel bigger than they expect. Snapping, shutting down, or feeling suddenly overwhelmed. In the next episode, we'll pivot into why some emotional reactions feel disproportionate, what tends to set them off, and how people usually respond when those reactions catch them by surprise.